There's a strange rule about motels on empty highways. The later you arrive, the more the building feels like it's been expecting you. That was the first thing I noticed when I pulled into the cracked parking lot of the Cold Pines Motel. It was past midnight. The neon sign buzzed like it was breathing, glowing red on the puddles like spilled blood. I wasn't running from anything, at least not in the way people imagine. No cops, no debts, no angry ex. But deep down, I knew I had been avoiding something heavier. A quiet guilt that clung to me like road dust. The lobby felt abandoned even though a man sat behind the counter. He didn't greet me, didn't smile, just slid the brass key across the desk like he already knew my name and where I was headed. Room 7. A room number that felt too familiar the moment I saw it. Inside, the air felt lived in, not warm, not cold, just heavy, like someone had been in there only moments before. The carpet had a faint depression, perfectly shaped like a pair of feet that had stood there for hours. The bathroom mirror was fogged, as if someone had stepped out of a hot shower a second before I entered. But the room was silent, unnervingly, suffocatingly silent. I tried to sleep, but the walls had other plans. Sometime past 3 a.m., the first sound came, a faint, steady pacing behind the headboard. Not mice, not pipes, just soft, rhythmic steps, like someone walking in a narrow hallway inside the walls. The TV flickered on by itself, blasting static so violently it rattled the bed frame. When I turned it off, it turned back on. Same channel, same static, like it wanted me to hear something buried in the white noise. Then came the phone. One ring, sharp, perfectly timed at 3:14. When I lifted the receiver, the line hissed, then cut into total silence. My chest tightened. I wasn't alone here. The room was performing a routine, acting out something it had done before. When I finally drifted into sleep, I jolted awake to the bed dipping beside me. Like weight, actual human weight, had sunk the mattress. I didn't dare look. By sunrise, the room felt wrong, not haunted, repeating, like a scratched record stuck in a loop. I noticed stains on the carpet that hadn't been there before. Dark, circular stains. The closet door, closed earlier, was now cracked open, as if someone inside had tried to peek out. I grabbed my bag, ready to bolt, but the doorknob wouldn't turn. The chain slid across automatically, locking itself. The window refused to open. Even the air conditioner clicked off on its own, drowning the room in a thick, stale heat. That's when the truth began to surface, not from the motel, but from me. Flashes hit me like snapshots. Wet footprints leading into a bathroom, a fogged mirror holding the outline of a person who wasn't me, a silhouette sitting on the edge of the bed. It all aligned with a memory I had buried years ago, the night I caused a fatal accident on a rainy road and kept driving. No witnesses, no confession, just guilt. The motel felt it, smelled it, fed on it. Cold Pines wasn't a place to rest. It was a place to consume unfinished stories. The last man who stayed in room 7 had disappeared the same way. Not taken, but absorbed by the building. And now it wanted me. At dawn, I forced the door open, not through strength, but through surrender. I whispered the truth I'd been hiding from myself for years. The lock clicked. The air lightened. The motel let me leave. But as I walked to my car, I saw the blinds in room 7 tilt open, just a little, like something inside was watching, waiting, hungry for the next traveler who carried secrets heavy enough to taste. Because motels don't trap everyone, only the ones who deserve it. I pulled into the Ridgeview Motel sometime after 2 a.m., the sky bruised with low clouds, the sign buzzing like it was short-circuiting on purpose. The place looked abandoned except for a dim light glowing in the manager's office. I didn't see a clerk, but the key to my room, room 12, sat on the counter like someone had placed it there just seconds before I arrived. The moment I opened the door, something felt wrong. The air was warm, as if the heater had been blasting for hours, but the thermostat was off. A faint smell of metal lingered, subtle but sharp, like old rust buried under cleaner. The bedspread was perfectly smooth, almost unnaturally so, as if no one had laid on it in years. But the carpet told a different story. Indented tracks led from the door to the bathroom, clear, heavy impressions, the exact shape of footsteps that didn't match my own. Fresh enough that the fibers hadn't sprung back up yet. I convinced myself they were from the last guest, but deep down, I knew they weren't. The TV clicked on by itself a few minutes later. Not static this time, just a black screen with a faint, pulsing glow that felt like it was breathing. Every few seconds, a flicker shaped like a silhouette flashed across the reflection. But when I turned around, the room remained empty. I tried to sleep anyway, but the motel had plans of its own. Sometime around 3:30, the lights dimmed, not fully, just lowering to a dark amber hue, like the room was preparing for something. A slow creaking sound rose from beneath the bed, followed by a dragging noise, soft but deliberate, like something was shifting its weight, inch by inch. When I sat up, the bedside lamp flickered violently, casting warped shadows along the walls. One shadow lingered for a fraction of a second too long, too still, too defined. By dawn, I felt drained, like the room had been feeding off me all night. The air felt cold now, unnaturally cold, the kind that sinks into your bones. I grabbed my bag and opened the door, and froze. The tracks on the carpet were gone, but new ones led from the bed to the closet, fresh, deep, stopping right in front of the closed door. I didn't dare open it. When I drove away, the motel shrank in my rearview mirror, but the feeling didn't. It clung to me, thick and heavy, because motels don't need guests. They need witnesses, and I was one of them now. I learned that at the Pine Hollow Motor Lodge, a place so quiet it felt suspended in time. I checked in near midnight, the sign outside flickering weakly over the empty lot. Room 4 smelled of stale air and burnt dust, but it was the wallpaper that froze me. Long vertical strips peeled downward like slow, deliberate claw marks. When I turned on the lamp, the room grew colder instantly, as if something unseen had stepped inside. The heater began clicking on and off in a steady rhythm, almost like breathing. Around 3 a.m., the wallpaper moved, not from a draft. The strips pushed outward, then relaxed, a faint wet sound following each motion. A bulge formed beneath the surface, tracking my steps as I backed away, as if something behind the wall was following me. I left at dawn without looking back, but in my mirror I saw room 4's wallpaper press outward one last time, watching me leave.